Hey, how's it going, folks? Today we're here with Professor O'Brien. She is a professor here at TU in the Film Studies and Media Studies Department. Thank you for coming and talking with us today.
Thank you.
So what are some of the classes that you teach here at TU?
This semester I'm teaching Intro to Filmmaking, Environmental Documentary, and Documentary Film Genre.
Okay, cool. So got a good variety.
Yeah.
Covers a lot of parts of film, I guess you could say, right?
Yeah, and the semester's going well so far.
That's great. That's great. Well, when did you start teaching?
In August, so I'm kind of a newbie to you.
How are you liking it so far?
I'm liking it a lot.
Cool.
First semester was kind of a transition, but I feel a bit more acclimated now that we're in the second semester.
Cool. Well, we try to be good students here, you know. Take it easy on the professors and rile them up a little bit. So when did you first, like, before you were a teacher, start getting interested in film and the idea of film?
As an undergrad, I was studying photography. It wasn't really a major or minor. I just kind of had it as a kind of deep hobby that I enjoyed. But I was studying international studies and sociology, which I really enjoyed. But after I graduated, I felt a little bit like it was disconnected from the real world, I guess you could say. And as much as I enjoyed writing academic papers and whatnot, I just felt it was there was a gap between those and reaching the general public. And so in that way I became interested in media production because I felt as if these stories could more easily relate or be relayed to the general public. And there was that artistic kind of flexibility within filmmaking modes that I really enjoy that within photography and filmmaking.
Yeah, that's great. That's a cool backstory, you know, kind of a interesting way to look at it. But so was there any specific part of film that you're interested in that you do now, or? Yeah,
so I mean, I have a lot of different paths that I really enjoy. So I worked at a production company for a while, and I've done a lot of documentary for broadcast television, which is its own thing, and then more independent documentary filmmaking, which I've produced on my own, and then media for museums, so the media that you might see installed in museums,
cool.
And archival research, which I really like doing and working into my own artistic practice. So I enjoy researching archival film and photographs, and then making sure that they relate back to the content that I'm producing. But I just really like the investigative aspect of that, like exploring archives and exploring the past through film.
That's really cool. Do you think that your sociology degree somewhat like helped or guided you along that path?
I think it's sort of like, I think it's kind of this innate interest to investigate the contemporary world in some way. Right,
that's really cool. So, well, on to the matter at hand, the Oscars. That's what we're covering today. Is there any special categories of the Oscars that you're interested in that's similar to your field, or?
So in my current practice, I really enjoy more experimental documentary. So documentary that sort of breaks the typical narrative mode that we're used to in documentary film and in narrative film. I am excited for Hale County this evening, which is a documentary. It was produced by Ramel Ross, and it's his first documentary actually, and he's a photographer who kind of stepped into filmmaking. But it examines Black life in the South, but it's done in a really interesting way where it's more focused on moments versus trying to tell like this arc that builds up and comes to a climax and then falls. It's really more focused on these specific moments experienced by individuals, and it's very like lyrical and interestingly paced, and so I'm excited for that. I hope that wins Best Documentary.
Cool. Yeah. I was curious when you mentioned experimental documentaries, that kind of thing. Is there any other examples of ways that a documentary can be experimental compared to something more traditional?
I think a lot of it comes in the structure of the film. So we see mainly different modes that are in practice. So they may not have like narration, and they may not follow like the typical timeline of first act, second act, and
Right.
following time in sequence either.
Okay.
So you see that in Hale County as well.
Yeah.
And sort of deviating away from focusing on any sort of like main character, but trying to really ingratiate the viewer into the experience of a place and a culture versus kind
Right.
of an individual's voice.
Right. That sounds really beautiful, actually. So thanks again for coming out and doing this. That
Yeah.
was really, really appreciate it.
Yes, thank you so
Thanks
much.
for coming. Thanks for watching, folks.